Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 65. It's Ilya here, and as always I'm super excited to see you on my YouTube channel. As you know, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what can we expect for the upcoming week. So to summarize this week, it was NFP week. So the beginning of the week, the first 3 days actually provided us some pretty nice setups. Then on Thursday we had a little bit of slowdown, and on Friday on the NFP day we had some large movements, but I usually don't trade NFP. My week is overall finished with little profits, around 2.5% or something. I took only 2 trades, one is break even and one is a win, so I'm pretty satisfied. I missed on a lot of setups, which I'm going to show you as well how I would have approached the market by that time, but some of them are Asian and some of them I just came to the charts a little bit later, so we're gonna see absolutely everything. So I'm gonna be starting to put more content, guys, so make sure to comment below what you want to see more, what you're struggling with, and potentially I'm even gonna start filming myself to let you know a little bit of my journey, what is my understanding of trading as well, like psychology, emotions, and this sort of stuff, just to make it more like a journaling experience, so you can always take value from that as well, and of course some educational videos for you. So if you're new to the channel and if you're excited about it, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell in order not to miss anything, and if you already did, let's see what do we have for the week ahead. As we always do, starting from the DXY, the US dollar currency index, to have a look what is happening with the dollar. So as you can see right here, we have a pretty strong bullish close on the weekly time frame, indicating that this week was overall bullish. After the market penetrated the lows a little bit, tried to continue down, but there were a lot of buyers coming in from that area, and we actually closed bullish. All right, so that is a little sign that we are turning a little bit to the upside. However, if I just have a look on the daily time frame, the most recent price action, like it has a little bit of a consolidative behavior. However, it's still creating lower highs. All right, so we have a lower high, lower low, lower high, almost a lower low, although it kind of almost failed to break, and it more looks like a double bottom rather than a lower low. And right now actually the market is pulling back to either create the third lower high or actually provide us with the reversal. All right, so very interested to see what is gonna happen for the week ahead on the dollar. But as you can see, just the first day was a little bit bearish, and then we have 4 days of bullish price action. But currently from a daily perspective, we're entering into this strong area right here of resistance. So I'm very curious to see how the market is gonna react from right here. And if we jump to the 4 hourly time frame, as you can see, we had that dip right here on market open, but then we broke above. So this is why I always look at the most recent price action, because I was just buying the dollar this week. After this happened to the upside, a retest of the EMA and off structure, then we continued to push to the highs, created a higher high, created a higher low right here, a new higher high. So the DXY was bullish all week. All right. And if I just have a look at the most recent price action, as I always do, what I see is that the market is forming a little bit of a supportive level right here. So we pulled back, the market pushed away, came back, failed to break below, tries to push but fails to make a higher high, then tries to push lower but fails to make a lower low as well. And then we have this this is NFP. Like you see a massive bullish candle followed by a massive bearish candle, and then again another bullish candle. So it was pretty indecisive on NFP. All right, so I'm just gonna take this overall area right here because this was manipulation, and here are my 2 lines that makes up for all of my analysis. What I want to see is how the dollar is gonna behave between those 2 levels. Is it gonna break below right here to come for a retest and potentially continue with the overall daily time frame, or is it actually gonna explode to the upside to create new higher highs, to break above trend lines, to break above structure on top, and then come back for a little retest, and then we can start to look for longs. All right, so this is the dollar. Just want to see if we're gonna continue to the downside with overall bearish pressure, or are we gonna sustain that full hourly bullish pressure, make new structural highs right here, and then just continue an uptrend. So DXY, want to see it push upwards, however not excluding the possibility of just the market punching this supportive level, coming back for a resistance, and then going lower. EURNZD weekly time frame. So what we can see right here is that the market has been staying in this area for quite some time. Like you can see wicks, small candles, wicks again, tries to push up, but right now it again fails, and we have a big indecisive candle here with a bearish close, not much information. But again, if we expect the dollar to rise, then this one, Euro USD, should start falling. All right. So from a daily time frame, we have a perfectly opposite correlation to the DXY. The DXY was making lower highs, and this one is making higher lows from a daily time frame perspective. However, what do we have right here is a beautiful double top as well. The market failing to make higher highs and giving us that beautiful manipulation above this area, indicating that the market grabbed all the orders, people went long as well, but then the market just snapped back to the downside. All right. So two scenarios. Again, we have this bullish trend line right here. However you want to draw it, I don't use trend lines too much, but what I want to know is that the market has failed to make new higher highs. This is what is important for me. Then dropping down to the 4-hourly time frame again. So we had a little long opportunity on EU this week. So I think it was around these areas right here. If I just drop to the hourly, yep, exactly. So as you can see, the market was in a little bit of a consolidation. The market opened, then we strongly impulsed to the upside. Then we came back for a pullback. This is the place that we started looking for trades. And as you can see, how the market beautifully slowed down to the downside, failed to make new lows, then broke the structure with a strong bullish candle, came back for a retest, perfect with all the confidence that we're looking at, and then just exploded to the highs, creating a new higher high. But then again, as always, we start following the structure, and the market failed to make new higher highs. Right, so it created the higher high right here, but on the pullback, it just started to plunge to the downside. So this was actually the only opportunity that I saw this week on EU, and afterwards we just had strong push to the downside. It looks like it formed a lower low, but still continued to push down, and then the last 2 days were a little bit of a consolidation. So again, to focus, what do we have right here? So I see an overall level of resistance just right here, all right, from this week, because the market has been failing to penetrate that level. As you can see, it climbed up, rejected, 8 hours of rejections, tried again, then a massive bearish candle, but this is NFP as well. Very similar to the DXY, actually exactly the same. We have the zone on top and we have this at the bottom. So what I want to see on Euro USD is how the price is going to develop between those two levels, because right now it's in the middle. There are a few situations we might break above retest and continue up. We might come on top, still fail to break that area and provide us with a little bit of a short opportunity, or the market can just start pushing to the downside, creating that new downtrend that we potentially want to see. All right, so make sure to stay tuned for the Tuesday analysis, where we're going to see how Monday has developed and when we can potentially start striking the market. But Euro USD, a little bit indecisive, really curious to see what's going to happen for the week ahead. Euro JPY weekly time frame, what do we have? We have a nice shooting star right here on top, and as you can see, the market has been failing to break this weekly area for like 4 weeks already. Dropping down to the daily time frame, what we can see again is that the market is failing to make new higher highs, which is pretty significant. However, the market is still moving in an overall bullishness, right? An overall bullish trend. However, I get the feeling that right here we might be starting to distribute in a distribution phase, and we might start heading lower during the next weeks. All right. So we had one opportunity on EJ this week that a member of the community took. It was from right here, just following the bullish pressure. Right here, this was the our trigger, and if I just go to the 15-minute time frame to show you how the entry was executed, it was exactly from right here. But fortunately, the stop loss, as always, is safely below the structure. We suffered a little bit of a drawdown, but then the market nicely pushed higher for the overall target, which was of 3.3 as far as I remember. Yep, something like this. So beautiful trade for one of our members of the Fanatic community, which I was pretty proud with. And then following this price action, we started to plunge to the downside. And this was the first indication that the market is breaking structure. We broke below the higher low, came for a beautiful retest, potential shorts, but not trading time, unfortunately. And then we started to drop to the downside. And afterwards, we just created this structure right here, which is pretty unclear. So potentially nothing much to look on Euro JPY. Just marking my levels again. As you can see, we have that resistance area that the market has been failing to break, but we have a support from the bottom, but that the market has been failing to break as well. On the hourly time frame, you can even adjust your lines a little bit, something like this. But this area is pretty consolidative. So again, guys, what do I want to see? I want to see some introduction of pressure, either to the upside, either to the downside, or just something to happen. All right, because currently we have nothing, and patiently waiting for Monday to show me where this market wants to go. A very quick analysis on Euro Aussie. So as you can see, this weekly area right here is pretty strong, and it really looks like that the market is failing to break below. As you can see from a daily time frame, we have this massive flush to the downside from the previous week, and this week, actually 3 days of this week was consolidation. As you can see from a 4-hourly time frame, we didn't do anything much. However, on the 3rd of September, we just started to impulse very strongly to the upside, breaking structure on the left, and currently this looks like a beautiful long opportunity. However, I always keep in mind the daily price action as well, because we have this massive push and it looks like a pullback. Beautiful EMA tap right here, so there will be sellers incoming. However, there is a potential for a long trade as well, so very curious to see what the market is gonna provide us for the week ahead on Euro Aussie. Overall, looking for buys because of this nice push to the upside, and I just want to see if the market is gonna start finding support right here, a little bit of a slowdown, and then potentially our entries on the hourly time frame and on the 15-minute will be developed by that time. And if we create a higher high into the beginning of the week, then definitely Euro Aussie is gonna continue to carry on to the upside. So very curious to see what's gonna happen. It looks like a beautiful setup, even from a Fibonacci confluence as well. 50% was hit, so let's just be patient and let's see if this market is gonna push to the upside. I know I'm not analyzing EURNZD, but this was a brutal, beautiful trade that I missed just by like 10 minutes this week, and I really want to show you guys what was my thought process. So weekly time frame, I'm not analyzing much and not expecting anything, but just gonna drop to the 4-hourly time frame very quickly. So the trade that I looked for was exactly from right here, where I saw like it was overall in a bearish market. We had this nice push to the downside and a very slow correction right here, so I was just waiting for the short. All right, hourly time frame, I saw the shift already with this hourly push to the downside that broke structure to the downside and created a new lower low. So it was just about time that I wait for another pullback right here from a lower time frame to enter a trade. And then on the 15-minute, actually my rules developed to perfection, but I was just a little bit late into the market. So by the time, so usually I would enter exactly right here, stop loss above the structure and take profit to the downside. However, when I sat at the chart, like my alerts were pink, but until I sat on the chart, the market was down there. And I just felt that I was gonna overtrade and my stop loss would get a little bit bigger, or I had to go aggressive. So I decided, all right, I'm not gonna take the trade. But as you can see, this trade I would have let a runner because it was like on a very nice place from a 4-hourly time frame perspective. And oops, I was about to run it very, very, very nice. So as you can see, first take profit was to the downside right here for a nice 5.7R, and actually the second take profit right here was for a 8R. So it was just a beautiful trade, really not regretting not taking, just missing out by a few. But as you can see, 4-hourly time frame, that everything is the same, guys. It's so simple. The strategy that we're trading right now is just unbelievable. 4-hourly time frame, hourly time frame, you already see the shift right here with a little head and shoulders. You just have to build all the pieces of the puzzles together, and actually everything starts to make sense. All right, so entry was right here, zero drawdown, and then we just flushed to the downside. So EURNZD, beautiful trading opportunity. You can go into your charts to see potentially how you can trade it as well. Yeah, definitely you have to be precise and focused, and this is what triggered me to create a little Instagram post as well, because I was not that focused, I was not that precise, and I missed on a beautiful trading setup. Next on the list are the Aussies. Let's have a look. What do we have? So from a weekly time frame perspective, we have a little bit of an indecision on top right here. As you can see, the market has been moving up for quite some time. Are we about to pull back? We don't know, but we just have an indecision on top. Not enough information was given. From a daily time frame perspective, actually it definitely looks like a long trade. All right, right now we have broken above the structure. We're currently coming back for a retest. EMA tap on a daily time frame, which is pretty significant, and we have a nice rejection right here. So definitely from a daily perspective, make sure to be careful with taking shorts. And as you can see, the market is already starting to slow down. An opportunity on Euro Aussie this week was from right here. Let me show you this one. Beautiful break in the retest. If I jump on the 15-minute, there was a little head and shoulders. right here on the 15 minutes. So you take your trade from right here, stop loss above, and then you decide where your take profit is. But I didn't take this trade because I was in Aussie JPY, which I'm gonna show you, but this one resulted in a massive swing trade to the downside. So definitely beautiful trades this week, but it's just all about being precise again and getting onto the right ones and actually learning how to hold them. So from an AUDNZD perspective, what do we have right now? We have this structural level right here that the market created, tries to push down but fails to push down, creating this sort of area right here, but this huge wick. This is NFP, of course. And right now the market tries to penetrate that level but fails. So for me, it's very important what is going to happen on market open. We don't have any opportunities right now, so I can expect the market to consolidate a little bit, and then I would love to see a creation of a new uptrend with the daily time frame, because from a daily time frame perspective, definitely looks like a long setup. So I would expect Aussie to start pushing up rather than down, but again, we never know. So let's just stay focused and let's see what is going to happen on Monday and then potentially strike on Tuesday. Aussie JPY weekly time frame. This is the break-even trade for this week. So let's see what do we have from a weekly time frame perspective. Again, another indecision doji on top, not containing a lot of information. From a daily time frame perspective, again the same, overall moving to the upside. So there is no need to be looking too much for shorts yet, although I took a short, right? But as you can see right now, we have a strong push to the upside, a pullback with EMA confluence. So maybe potentially from a daily time frame perspective, the big boys are gonna push the market up. So far, however, I spotted that the market was failing to break above right here and we started having some bearish introduction. And as I'm a day trader, I immediately tried to take it to the short side. So where I entered my trade was exactly right here on the break of this overall supportive level right here with a nice push to the downside with a retest, then just jumping on the 15-minute to wait for my rules to develop. Actually, it was beautiful because we had that nice uptrend to the upside right here, a break and a retest of the neck of the of this little head and shoulders right here, which was very similar to Aussie USD, but I ended up taking Aussie JPY. I don't know why, I just took Aussie JPY. Stop loss was above the structure and take profit was to the downside. First one was right here at 720. If I just measure it, yeah, it was even lower right here. So this was my first take profit. And as you can see, the market pushed to the downside right here. So I went break even. To be honest, I went break even afterwards, and then the market just tapped me out. Consolidated, then it pushed all the way down to hit my complete take profit and even provided me with a few additional pips. However, I just exited that trade because my rules for break even, this is it. I went break even, got tapped out, but as you can see, it never actually went into drawdown, which I was pretty pissed, but this was my break-even trade for this week. Then the market continued to trade to the downside, but I could not spot any tradable opportunity because it was just pushing to the downside, and even the hourly time frame wasn't that clear by that time, so I just decided not to take any trades. All right, so my expectations for the next week are right now, nothing is for certain because we're just fresh coming after NFP. As you can see, we have some pretty nasty spikes right here, so definitely want to see how the market is gonna behave between those two areas. Are we gonna have a push to the downside with some support, then the market starting to create new higher highs and higher lows? Are we gonna continue to the downside? We don't know, so let's just see what's gonna happen from a daily time frame perspective. Both Aussies are with a bullish perspective, so let's have a look what is gonna happen. Alright, and here is my winning trade for this week, Aussie NZD. So let's have a look, what do we have. From a weekly time frame perspective, actually looks very bullish. However, we were staying at the high right here, just creating a higher high. So the probabilities of the market creating a downwards candle were pretty big. Daily time frame as well, like we had this consolidation on top, a little break, retest as well. So the possibility of it pushing down were big enough as well. For hourly time frame, everything was pointing to the downside, and I believe I took my trade from right here just to go on the hourly time frame. Yes, exactly. So as you can see, everything was pointing to the downside. It was just a matter of spotting where the opportunity was. Beautiful push to the downside with a beautiful pullback right here, slow down on top, as you can see, creating this lower high area. Then dropping to the 15-minute time frame, what did we have? The market again creating this structure. This is a DTLH, we call it this way. And then the market just pushes to the upside, pushes back to the downside, then fails to make a new higher high, right? But it creates a lower high, and once we broke below this structure right here, this one I entered on the retest. Stop loss was just above that structure that I just marked, and then my take profit was on a Fibonacci that I usually use for take profit, which was exactly right here for a nice yeah, my R&R was lower, I think, to yeah, I'm not sure, I'm really not sure, but it just hit to perfection. All right, so as you can see to the pip, then retraced a little bit, and afterwards we actually turned bullish. But this was my winning trade for this week. Very simple, zero drawdown as well, straight take profit, so the system just works wonders. And if I just have a look what is happening right now, the market is just consolidating, so nothing too much is expected. As you can see, just a consolidation, so patiently waiting to see what the next week is gonna provide us. Let's have a look at the NZD starting from NU weekly time frame. Nothing much, guys, so I'm gonna cover them very quickly. So we have a little indecisive candle right here on a daily time frame. So as you can see, the market starts very slow, tries to climb to the upside, then we have a little bit of a momentum to the downside on Thursday, but then Friday again, like this looks more bullish than bearish. As you can see from a daily, we have a nice introduction of buyers currently retesting. So are we gonna continue up? I don't know. But again, looking from a quality perspective, we have that little head and shoulders right here, but I just couldn't find any opportunities on NU. Like it provided us with this little push, little pullback, little pushes with little pullbacks, then consolidation. So definitely nothing much on this one. So again, as I always do, I try to have a look where my most recent levels are. The first one is right here. The second one is on the bottom. What I need to see is what the market is going to do in between those areas. All right, are we going to plunge to the downside for manipulation and then continue higher? Are we going to break and retest, continue higher, or are we going to break and retest clearly to continue lower? And this is why it's important for you guys to stay tuned for the Tuesday analysis to see what actually is going to happen. And just very quickly to cover NZD JPY, nothing much, absolutely nothing. So right here we have actually a quite bullish candle from a weekly time frame, because the market just opened in a very bullish manner. Right now it's pulling back. Are we gonna have longs? We don't know, but just looking like it's pushing up, it's pulling back, so there could definitely be some long setups, but I just didn't spot any. So potentially could have taken a long from right here, which I actually see was a tradable opportunity. Not sure why I didn't see it right here. Yeah, probably because of all of that consolidation. Yeah, and this is not the clear structure that we look at. And then we don't have nothing much. Yeah, definitely just scanning the market, but nothing much that I see, and this is why I didn't take any trades. So again, what is happening right here? We have this fresh lower high, or is it a higher high? Because we broke this little structure on the top, but then all of those huge wick right here kind of invalidate the whole picture. So what I want to see, again, similar to NU, just want to see where the market wants to go, and then I'm gonna act on it. So NZDs, nothing pretty much this week, so let's see what the next one has for us. Let's have a look at some USDs, starting from USD JPY weekly time frame. So we have a bullish weekly close, but really nothing to indicate what is happening right here. As you can see on UJ, the weekly price action hasn't been very clear, so definitely we have to focus on the lower time frames. But what is happening right here as well is definitely not clear, because we have 5 days of the market just moving up, but nothing was clear, right? So we have this double bottom right here. But the market seems like it was creating lower highs, so definitely confusing price action from a higher time frame perspective, and as well from the lower one. This one looked like a beautiful short opportunity right here, but as you can see, when something is too evident, usually it will not work out. Then we pushed higher, we started to create higher highs and higher lows, but nothing was clear for a trade on USD JPY. As you can see, it's climbing to the upside, but I just spotted no clear entry opportunity. Actually, this one was on Friday, I believe. Just pushed to the downside, and an opportunity was potentially right here for a lower high. However, it was NFP day and I didn't enter short, and as you can see, the market just exploded to the upside later and coming back down. So definitely UJ not one of the best pairs for this week. And what do we have right now? Nothing clear. I will just mark the high right here, which created a little bit of a double top, and what I can see from the bottom is that there is a pretty nice supportive level. So what I need to see for this week, for the beginning of the week, is how the market is gonna behave again in between those two levels. Are we gonna break below, retest, continue lower? Are we gonna break above, retest, continue higher? Or are we just gonna play between those two levels? We don't know, and this is why we always have to see, and we always have to know which are our major areas and where the market is reacting from. So those are the levels. Make sure to have them on your charts and just wait to see when the market is gonna actually break one of them. USD CAD weekly time frame. Let's see what do we have here. So another little candle of indecision at the bottom of this big push to the downside. So nothing very major to discuss from a weekly time frame. Daily time frame, overall downtrend. As you can see, the market opened in a bearish manner, creating that lower low. Then we consolidated for a bit. Then another day of consolidation. Then on Thursday, we had an explosion to the upside that actually looks like it created that lower high formation of this overall downtrend. And right now we're strongly pushing to the downside after NFP. So what we have from a forward time frame perspective, like the market was moving down, then we have this bullish introduction right here. It was kind of confusing because this looked more like a lower high in this overall downtrend, but the pressure coming from the downside was too much. Then we pushed down right here, but then the market found support and there wasn't really a clear trade to be taking. Like we broke this consolidation right here, but it was just a fake out to the downside. And then again, we started to continue to the upside. And later we created a higher high, which basically was a lower high from a higher time frames. And right now we're pushing to the downside. But from a 4-hourly time frame perspective, I can still say that we're overall bullish, because if this is our last higher low, then this is the higher high. Right now we're still staying above, maybe closing below the 78.6. Yeah, we're closing below the 70.6. So definitely curious to see what is going to happen on UCAD. I would just mark this area that the market currently tapped into, and what we might have is the market pull back a little bit for a potential head and shoulders coming from the left right here, and maybe we're gonna start heading lower. So this is one situation on UCAD, but overall not a very nice pair to be traded. I couldn't spot anything on UCAD, so definitely waiting for some more clearer price action, which is the case. The price action is not that bad, but it's just that we're sitting at a crucial area right now for UCAD, like at the bottom of a huge weekly trend. So I would really love to see actually this one start to trend to the upside. Like we had a little indication that it's starting, but still failing for the buyers to really start pushing the market. So definitely curious to see what's gonna happen. But as for now, just stepping aside, I'm more on the short bias still in it rather than the long one. So definitely we can be looking for a little pullback right here, retest of that structure, and then heading lower. But let's see on Tuesday, what do we have for an update. USD Swiss franc weekly time frame, a very nice bullish engulfing candle on the weekly time frame. So are we gonna start heading higher? Let's see for the week ahead. Daily time frame, beautiful double bottom was created right here with a failure to break below. The market pushed to the highs, started to find some resistance right here. As you can see, 2 days of resistance on top, because there is quite a lot of resistance on the left right here. Order blocks and everything you want is sitting right here. But overall, I can see that we're starting to move to the upside. In the beginning of the week, so this was the 31st, this is Monday, but then on Tuesday, actually the market really exploded to the upside. Then we started to consolidate for 1 or 2 days. We dipped below to create a higher low of this overall push to the upside, and right now it seems like we're creating a higher high. So definitely curious to see what USD Swiss franc has for us for the week ahead. No trades were taken, and I'm not sure if there were any tradable opportunities on it as well. Maybe a short from around those areas, but this is a counter trend trade. Yeah, I think there wasn't an entry, definitely just having a look at it. So no trades for me on USD Swiss franc, but what I want to see right now is if the market is going to pull back around those areas right here, find potential support, and if then we're going to explode to the upside, because this is our first indication of the market reversing. All right, so we tapped strongly into this order block right here and exploded to the upside. Right now it's pulling back down to create a higher low. So let's just see if the market is gonna continue higher so we can start buying it. But overall, even from an hourly time frame, we have this nice push to the upside with a pullback. So if the markets will start to slow down a little bit right here or pull back even a little bit more, then potentially I'm gonna start looking for longs on USD Swiss. So let's see what Monday has for us, and then on Tuesday we strike. Alright, so let's have a look at the GBP. Starting from GU, what do we have on a weekly time frame? Well, we have a candle of indecision right here on the top, which looks like at the top of this whole move to the upside. But again, we thought that this was the top and the market is gonna pull back. So we'll never know when the market is actually gonna start pulling back. And this is why it's pretty important just to monitor the structure, right? Overall, we are moving to the upside. We have this nice push to the upside, and this one looks like a higher low, because as you can see from previously, we never broke below the structure. And right now we're just moving to the upside, so there is no need to be changing the overall direction. However, we had a few short opportunities right here. I didn't take any trades on GU. this week. But the first long actually was from right here. It was a Asian trade, but it was pretty clear that this one was creating a higher low. From 4-hourly time frame perspective, the hourly time frame was very nice low, like a what was it, a flag formation. And then on the 15-minute we had a beautiful downtrend right here that was broken, retested, or potentially we can enter around this area. But this was, I believe, yeah, this is 3 o'clock. Again, Asian session, so not a trade that I would be taking. Next, what did we have? We had a change of direction from a 4-hourly perspective, because we pushed to the highs, we tried to create a higher low, but then the market dipped below, all right, and it broke this previous higher low formation, making actually a reversal. So we had the first lower high, a nice push to the downside, second lower high, and then the market just continued to trade to the downside. Unfortunately, I did not manage to capitalize on any on those moves, just because like this was a beautiful trade right here, but I didn't take it because I think I was already in another one, or I'm not sure, or it just didn't tick some of the rules. But it is what it is. GU provided us with one long opportunity this week and a few shorts to the downside. So what is happening right now? Well, we have created this lower high formation, which definitely looks like news, like a strong push up, then a massive push down, and then the market again catches that liquidity. So definitely eager to see what is going to happen. This is just fresh from NFP. As you can see, push to the downside and immediately push to the upside. So definitely the market doesn't know what it's doing. So waiting for Monday to see what's going to happen. I have this area right here, which will serve me as a resistance area, because if the market emerges above and breaks that area, then potentially I can start looking for longs. All right, so this will be just the correction of the daily pullback, break, retest, and then we can start looking higher. But if the market starts to find resistance around those areas, then potentially I will start looking for shorts. So let's see what GU has for us. Nothing is for clear right now. It's overall moving to the downside on the 4-hourly time frame, but not excluding the possibility from a daily time frame that the market is actually gonna start moving up. So let's see what do we have. And just checking the other ones as well. GJ, again, another weekly candle of not indecision. It looks more like a rejection candle, a pin bar from the top. But daily time frame, it just perfectly moves to the upside. Nice push to the upside, currently pulling back right here. So potentially we might see some long opportunities. And similar to the other pairs, we have this NFP situation right here. So the market is currently breaking and retesting, tries to push lower, fails, and right now we're sitting in the middle. As for tradable opportunities on GJ, again, I couldn't find any. GU was much clearer right here, because you can see there was a bunch of manipulation right here. Then the market, massive push down, massive push up. So I just didn't see any trades on GJ. So that is perfectly fine. And as for now, we're just stuck between this area. So I need to see what is going to happen. Are we going to break above with a little retest, higher low formation, and continue higher? Are we going to break below, or are we going to start consolidating on Monday and then potentially Tuesday is going to make the move? Let's just stay in sync with the market and just patiently wait for something clear to occur, right? GA, yeah, not one of my favorite pairs. I know some of you guys just love GA, but this is a pair that has never worked for me, so I don't trade it too much. But as you can see, this is a cluster right here of consolidation from a weekly time frame, so no clear direction. If we have a look at the last 5 days, like just have a look at this price action right here, it's totally confusing. And the last 5 days have been bullish, but really nothing serious right here. So we broke above this structure. This was the only thing that that told me that we will move to the upside, more to the downside. But this was a strong push, but this was a very strong pullback, so potentially a trade right here. But even if we took a trade from here, then look what happens next. A bunch of consolidation, then we try to push higher, but we don't push too much higher before we head lower. So definitely GA, a confusing pair for me right now, and I even don't know how to break it down, because when I just don't know how to break it down, I will usually skip the pair. But I can see that overall we have a supportive level right here that the market has been failing to break, and right now the market just taps that area, and let's see if it's gonna sustain above or is it gonna break below. And we have, of course, the high, which looks like a hard high from a 4-hourly perspective, but daily time frame is not clear in order to judge for any direction. So just waiting to see for something clear on GA. It's nothing clear for now for me personally, so I would just wait, and I will make sure to let you know on Tuesday if I see something clear. Euro GBP weekly time frame. So another little candle right here, really not making too much sense from a weekly time frame what the trend is. Dropping to the daily time frame, it's overall to the downside, right? We have this nice push to the downside. The market is trying to pull back, but with a failure. Right here, we started the week with a bullish candle with a pullback, so we dropped lower, but then on Thursday we have this explosion to the upside, and right now the market seems like it's finding resistance from this overall weak area right here, which will potentially make a little bit more sense from a 4-hourly time frame. So I couldn't spot any trades on Euro GBP, just because like when we opened, we pushed lower. Where is the open? Right here. Then we pushed higher, then we pulled back, so it looked like an inverse head and shoulders, but then the market just created a lower high and started to head lower without providing us with any clear setup. So this was the only setup right here. This was the only setup that I was looking at. Not sure if it provided a 15-minute opportunity. Yes, it actually did. It actually did provide. However, I wasn't sure if I wanted to take that trade. So it would have been taken from those wicks right here, and it would have been a massive flush. Was this Monday? I think it was Tuesday. Actually, a perfect day to be trading, but unfortunately, I did not see this as a tradable opportunity. As for right now, what I see is that the market has been pushing strongly with bullish pressure, pulls back for a higher low formation, tries to make a higher high, but plunges into that supportive level, resistance, and currently sitting in the middle. So definitely needing to see what Euro GBP has. This is the high. Oops. What did you do? This is the high right here, and we have the low as well. Currently, nothing clear, even from an hourly time frame perspective. It's not clear what the market wants to do. So definitely want to see how the market behaves between those two areas. Are we going to break below with a retest? Are we going to head higher, maybe potentially consolidate, or are we going to reverse to the upside? This is what we have to see. So those are the GBP, guys. Let's see what else do we have. Let's have a quick look on gold weekly time frame. So this really looks like a nice push to the upside with a nice pullback right here, and the market has been finding support for 4 weeks already. So are we preparing for a bullish push? We don't know. Daily time frame overall failing to break below, but it looks like a triangular formation. As you can see, the market making lower highs but failing to make lower lows, which is significant as well. But we have this pretty strong daily area right here that the market will potentially encounter. And from a full hourly time frame perspective, actually it doesn't make too much sense. So the week opened right here on the 31st with a little bit of bullishness, then we pushed lower, we changed the direction of the market, so potentially we could have taken some shorts, pushed to the downside, pull back, potential short right here as well from an intraday perspective, because you can see the market pushed lower, it actually broke all the structure on the left, so this was where we looked for shorts, but I don't trade GOAT too much. And then we actually head lower for a take profit because this created a lower low. And then the market, this is actually NFP, this candle right here. First we pushed to the upside, then we pushed to the downside, then again to the downside with this huge candle. No, this is actually the NFP candle. And right now we're sitting like this, creating this supportive level. And on top we have the lower high formation. So on gold, what I need to see, so if the market is gonna push higher, then I definitely need to see the direction change, because currently we don't have it. All right, so for me, a change in direction will look something like this: the market to emerge above the EMA, to this is first indication, the double bottom, but I really need to see broken structure, a new higher high, higher low formation, and then we can start heading higher, targeting all of those levels on the left. So let's see on gold. Pretty curious to see what's gonna happen. More looking on the higher side, because the dollar is set to be devaluated right now and people will be putting more money into gold as well. So very curious to see what is ahead and having a little bit more of a bullish outlook on gold. But first, wanna see this break and retest. And quickly wrapping up the video with some outlook on the indices. As you can see on US30, we have a little bit of a bearish candle. So this is not a problem because we've been trending up for quite some time and it's normal to have some reversal. And from daily time frame actually, so as you can see, nice push, pullback, nice higher high, but this one was pretty major, and I believe this was mostly affected by the upcoming news of NFP or some companies actually having some releases. But I still keep my analysis from the previous week. As you can see, we had that beautiful pullback right here on Monday. Then on Tuesday, we had the accumulation, and then we exploded to make that higher high. But after the higher high, we had a beautiful break below with a retest of the EMA as well, and the market continues to trade lower. All right, so very, very, very volatile. So right now, what do we have? We have this lower high formation that was created, and the market actually is currently retesting this lower low. but it's just one candle, so nothing too major. But I just want to see how the market is gonna behave around those areas, and if we're gonna have another move to the downside, or potentially the market might start emerging to the upside, pulling back for head and shoulders, something like this, and then potentially exploding higher. So let's see. Indices, I'm not trading them too much, but very curious to see. And it's actually good to see some of those stocks drop, because they're really pumped right now with debts, and I really expect actually the stock market to decline. And as you can see, NASDAQ as well, we had some tradable opportunities right here, like break, retest, nice high, but then the market just plummeted. It's retesting some of the levels, but they're no longer valid. So again, I'm gonna keep to most recent price action, which is right here, this lower high. Massive push to the downside during NFP right here, and right now the market is consolidating. So is this just a dip? I'm really not sure. It looks like a dip as well, so we might buy some stocks, but really curious to see actually how the week is gonna open, and if we're gonna have some consolidation around that area right then, and then potentially come and retest all of that supportive levels right here. So this is my outlook on the indices as well, and this is how I'm gonna wrap up the video, guys. I really hope you appreciated it and got something valuable. Make sure to mention down in the comments if you found it helpful. Hit the like button and make sure to provide me with some ideas for future videos. My course is already out, so make sure to check the link in the description. The team is already killing it, and they're pretty happy with the educational content as well, so I'm very pumped about it. Thank you for staying up until now. I really appreciate you, and I cannot wait to see you on my next video, and let's have a crushing week.